Whilst all 49 of the villages are charming in their own right, we've chosen 22 to cover in further detail below. Why not include one of two of these villages in your Switzerland itinerary? Be warned, choosing which ones to visit will be a difficult choice. Switzerland's public transport network is excellent and most villages are serviced by either trains or buses. If you plan to travel by public transport, consider a Swiss travel pass which covers all train and bus travel within the country. Should you prefer a little more flexibility with your timetable, driving in Switzerland gives you the option to stay a little longer in the villages if you wish to. 1. Bosco-Guerin. Founded in 1253 by Walser settlers from the Valais, the tiny village of Bosco-Guerin is not only the highest commune in Ticino, it is also the only German-speaking commune in the canton. Villages in Switzerland don't come much smaller, or much more idyllic, than this. The charming village sits in a side valley of the Valle Maggia and, as it has for centuries, agriculture is the main source of income here. Tourism also plays a role, with the village, which sits at 1,504 meters above sea level, regarded as one of the most popular ski destinations in Ticino. Visitors to Bosco-Guerin can't help but notice the village's traditional architecture with the houses built of stone and wood. One of the oldest of these houses, which dates back to 1386, is now home to the local history museum. The traditional language of the villagers is also well preserved with the local dialect G. Garizhnartich learnt from an early age and is still spoken today. 2. Giornico. The canton of Ticino is the only one that lies entirely south of the Alps, and this is an Italian-speaking part of Switzerland. Giornico is a beautiful village around half an hour from Bellinzona, the capital of Ticino. Known as the Village of the Seven Churches, Giornico has some unique houses of worship to see, such as the Romanesque Church of San Nicolao. The village was also a popular rest stop in times past for humans and animals making their way to the Gotthard Pass, before they tackled the ascent. Giornico is also home to the Museum of Levantina, which is well worth visiting. You can also discover Ticino's only inhabited river island here. This is connected to the mainland via two original mediaeval bridges, and the island also has a grotto, a local restaurant, a little like an Italian trattoria. Dine here and you can enjoy views of the river and the mediaeval bridges. You can also sample the famous local wine, Giornico Oro, which translates as Giornico Gold. It's one of the finest Merlots you'll find anywhere. Giornico can be reached by car in around 20 minutes, or by train and bus via Biasca. The latter takes around 35 minutes in total. 3. Saint-Saphorin. The Swiss village of Saint-Saphorin occupies a dramatic location among the Lavaux terraced vineyards, on a steep hillside above Montreux and overlooking the lake. Beyond the water, majestic alpine peaks form a scenic backdrop, making this what has to be one of the most beautiful places in Switzerland. Chances are, if you search the internet for beautiful images of Switzerland, the results will include plenty of photos of Saint-Saphorin. The Lavaux vineyards are UNESCO World Heritage listed, and fine wine is made right here from the Chasselas grapes. A highlight of any visit to this village is the winemaker's cellar, where local vintners allow the sampling of their wares. Saint-Saphorin's Old Town is a charming area featuring cobbled lanes, narrow alleys and winding passages. The evangelical church dates from the early 1500s and occupies a site of historical importance. Formerly, the site was home to a Roman villa and then a medieval sanctuary. The proximity of the lake's sparkling waters, the multi-colored roofs, the tumbling vineyards and the elevated location give the village something of a Mediterranean feel. Both locals and visitors mingle at the Place du Pupilier or Village Square or relax at the winemaker's cellar. 4. Grandvillard. Grandvillard is located in the Gruyère region of Fribourg, and as such is famous for its cheese-making heritage. The village is also home to some significant buildings, namely those houses that are listed as Swiss heritage sites. Visitors can take a rural architecture discovery trail through Grandvillard if they wish. Beginning at the Restaurant du Pic Vert, this passes by 14 buildings dating from between the 16th and 20th centuries. The area's cheese-making past is evident on the peasant architecture of the village's homes and barns. Buildings are rich in stone and wood, and some have Gothic-style windows. The Church of San Bartolomeo in Giacomo is worth visiting, and there are also many small chapels to be found around this mountainous area on the edge of the forest. 5. Villingen. Villingen's rich history dates back to at least the 12th century, and the village was governed by the Counts of Arberg until the late 1500s. The latter constructed the fortified walls, towers and castle. The village enjoys a pleasant and protected position below the hills and among the peaceful Swiss forests. Many visitors reach Villingen via paths through the trees, before being greeted by the imposing sight of the castle and its walls and towers. With an idyllic location around 5 kilometers from Lake Neuchâtel and in the heart of the Saône Gorges, Villingen is a place where many relax and unwind. The active can hike the nearby First Trails, while those interested in history and culture can take in the collegiate church, Borg and of course the castle. 6. Saint-Ursanne. Occupying a tranquil site by the Doubs River, Saint-Ursanne is a well-preserved Swiss settlement that dates back to medieval times and is one of the most attractive small towns in Switzerland. To this day, the old town can only be accessed via 4 entryways. One of these is the Saint-Jean-Nepomucene Bridge, while the other 3 are the original city gates. These are St. Peter's Gate in the east, St. John's Gate to the south and St. Paul's Gate to the west. The latter is sometimes known as the Porrentruy Gate. The bridge was subject to renovation in 2016, while the village's collegiate church and cloister were built in the 1100s and 1200s. A reminder of the past exists in the form of a medieval garden, where medicinal plants and vegetables are still grown. Saint-Ursanne is often referred to as the Pearl of the Jura. It is certainly an attractive village, with ancient pale stone buildings set against a backdrop of lush green trees, all nestled on the banks of the Doubs River. 7. Diessenhofen. Diessenhofen is a pretty riverside village located in the Rhine region of Switzerland between the popular towns of Schaffhausen and Stein am Rhein. It is also close to the Rhine Falls. This is one of the most scenic river landscapes anywhere in the world, and a boat trip along the Rhine is a must for many visitors. The wooden bridge in Diessenhofen is famous for several reasons. It forms the border between Germany and Switzerland and is over 150 years old. Passing boats must lower their cabins and awnings as well as masts to pass beneath it unhindered. This picturesque Swiss village is surrounded by countryside, which certainly adds to its appeal. From the banks of the Rhine, visitors can see rolling green hills dotted with the vineyards of this winemaking region as well as castles and other ancient buildings. A charming footpath leads to the convent of St. Catherine-Entel, a Dominican structure that is Baroque in style within. Unterhof Castle, meanwhile, is a Swiss heritage site of national significance. 8. Simplon-Dorf. This Valais village is a Swiss site of national importance. At almost 1,500 meters above sea level, Simplon-Dorf lies to the southern end of the Simplon Pass. There are many nods to nearby Italy in this Swiss village, including the central village square which is Italianate in style. The buildings also have stone slab roofs typical of those found in the neighboring country. The section of the Simplon Pass that goes via Gondo Gorge is the most spectacular, with granite walls rising high on either side. Simplon Pass first came into use during the 1600s, when it was first used for pack animals who carried salt from the Mediterranean across the Alps. Other sites of interest in this village include small churches as well as a dairy and a traditional Swiss bakery. 9. Grimentz. Grimentz is situated in the Swiss canton of Valais, in the scenic Val d'Anneviers region. Grimentz is more than 1,500 meters above sea level. and can be accessed via a mountain road that runs alongside a gorge. Dating from the mid-16th century, you can discover the Burger House at the heart of the village. The cellar here is where the local white wine is aged in casks. In the past, this glacier wine was only served when the bishop came to visit the village. Grimentz has a narrow main street lined with wooden houses, and these are decorated with bright red geraniums in spring and summer. The homes themselves have also been darkened by the powerful rays of the sun. In winter, this is a popular winter sports destination, and the 3,000 meters plus snowy mountains can be seen looming over the village. There's plenty to do in and around Grimentz to warrant a longer stay. You can take a walk to Maury Reservoir Lake, or sample winter sports such as downhill or cross-country skiing and toboggan rides. You can reach Grimentz by bus from Sierre, or by train from Geneva. The latter takes around 2 hours and 25 minutes. Alternatively, driving there involves a journey time of about 2 hours and 10 minutes from Geneva, or it's around half an hour by car from Sierre. 10 Urlach. Urlach is the pearl on Lake Biel, and dates back to the late 11th century. With its picturesque location and well-preserved medieval architecture, it is considered one of the most charming fairy tale towns in Switzerland. A castle was first built on the site by a bishop from Basel. Now, the Knights Hall is a fine example of medieval architecture, with Romanesque pillars supporting the impressive beamed ceiling overhead. Urlach Castle is one of Bern Canton's oldest. Originally constructed to protect the route towards Lake Biel, it dates from around 1100. The old town was gradually added to during the 1200s, and by stages it grew into the more sizable settlement that it is today. The natural beauty of Lake Biel is one of the draws of Urlach. Fishing is also a popular pastime on the lake. Many like to visit St. Peter's Island, which is now actually a peninsula forming part of Urlach. It is rich in natural beauty, and famed for its marshes, reed beds and meadows. In the wider area, wine tastings and vineyard tours are other activities enjoyed by many. 11 Buren and der Aare. Buren and der Aare is listed on the Swiss Federal Inventory of Cultural Property, and has a number of places of interest to its name. This historic village has a medieval center, and was once closed off by the moat which surrounded it. The village is attractively located on the banks of the Aare River, hence the name. Here the rural meets the urban in a village center that's packed with historic buildings and appealing sights. Taking a walk along the riverbank is also an extremely pleasant pastime while visiting the area. Particular points of interest in Buren and Aare include the Old Town Hall, a pair of pretty fountains, an ancient castle, the Spittal Museum, an evangelical church and an original wooden bridge spanning the river. The historic Alt Mule, Old Mill, can also be reached on foot in just a few minutes. As well as the historic building, there's a spacious and scenic garden here to enjoy. As a larger settlement than some of the most beautiful villages in Switzerland, Buren and der Aare can offer a wider range of amenities. There's a Buren tourism office housed in the town hall, plus numerous places to eat and a handful of low-key accommodation options. In this Swiss village you can also take a trip on the river, sample inline skating, ride a horse, follow a fitness trail or take a dip in the river or local swimming pool. Buren and der Aare is one of the larger of the most beautiful Swiss villages. With a permanent population of around 3,220, it's easy to reach from Bern. Getting there from the capital takes only half an hour or so, whether you travel by train or by car.